Happy Wednesday and welcome back to the Wolff Den, presented by Win Again Academy. Check out winagainacademy.com for some great events that Mark Moore is putting on with networking and informational events. I'm Matt Wolff, founder and CEO of Ticket Time Machine. Today we have Zac Tepe on the Wolff Den. Zac, welcome to the show. How's everything going?
Going great, man. Thanks. I'm wondering, did you do that on purpose, setting up your name, the word Wednesday, and the sponsor all to have the same starting letter? Because it's all W's, man, across the board. Did you do that on purpose?
No, I guess it just kind of happens that way. I don't even know. Most of the stuff I do is not on purpose.
Dude, W's across the board. You're winning all over the place, man. That's huge.
Everybody wins. That's a session that I do when I speak at conferences. Everybody wins, which is what we like to hear, right? Everybody wins. Tell everyone who you are for those in the audience who don't know.
Yeah, man. Excited to be here winning with Wolff. I'll spare the whole story of how I went from music education to sports broadcasting to stand-up comedy to esports, but I'm here now. Background includes raising a bunch of money for charities, did brand activation design for a bunch of major brands, worked in sports leagues, had a lot of fun. I actually, as of a couple weeks ago, stepped back out into the freelancing space. I'm working on a project behind the scenes that's a month or two away. So step back out into the world of trying to find some interesting projects to be a part of. I've had some really interesting folks reach out to me with some really interesting things. So I feel like the next couple of weeks will be really fun, as I explore what some of that looks like, and hopefully that leads to the next couple of months being interesting as well.
Yeah, it's always exciting to have the ideas and see them kind of grow and where they kind of take those turns. So looking forward to hearing whatever it is that you're working on. And how did you get into you had all that, different background, jumping from one thing, esports and entertainment, to radio. What did you grow up, thinking you might want to do?
Yeah, man. So growing up, video games were always fun, right? I'd play with my friends, would play, myself, do all these different things. And then jumping into college, I knew I was 100% certain, without a doubt, that I wanted to be a music teacher, right? Because I played classical trombone, played that for years. I'm a classically trained baritone. I did jazz trombone in high school and college, all this stuff, right? And, my music teachers growing up were so important to me. Were so interesting, were so valuable, and turning me into the amazing person I clearly am today, right? That I knew that I wanted to follow in their footsteps and help high school kids achieve something similar. So I went to school for music education, then realized I didn't want to teach at all in any way whatsoever. And then I was like, okay, now what do I do? And so I tried everything from being an English major because I like writing, to doing sports broadcasting and majoring in broadcasting for our college radio station. I went to the same college that the Indians play-by-play announcer went to, and I thought, I'll be just like him. He's pretty good at his job. I could be good at my job too. And so I went down that road for a while, realized that it's tough to make it to the top in that kind of space, and I wasn't certain if I necessarily wanted to be calling single A baseball games when I was 60 years old. So, kept trying to figure out what it is I wanted to do that actually made me passionate. And at the same time, I was running video game tournaments at my college for people on campus and also around the community for like the local Smash Bros scene and fighting game scene and some stuff with some sports titles and things like that. And I had also been working on a project called Zeldathon with a bunch of my friends since I was in high school, where we played through the entire Zelda series twice a year. Streamed it on Twitch, eventually made it on the front page, raised a bunch of money for different charities. That project has now added up to raise over $3 million for different causes and has streamed to over 100,000 unique viewers. And I was doing that at the time and looking at this and thinking, okay, I have all this cool stuff. And then I kept running these tournaments. Zeldathon started to take off. Eventually I was a featured panelist at TwitchCon, MagFest, a bunch of other shows. And one thing led to the next, and I realized, man, I really like this gaming stuff. I'm going to do this. I'm just going to try this stuff. And so I volunteered at a bunch of tournaments for no money. And then eventually I started volunteering at them for some money, which isn't really volunteering, but it's a different word for it. And then one thing led to the next, and eventually I was designing product activations for Mountain Dew. It was just a journey of finding something that I enjoyed, deciding that I really wanted to do it, and then continuing to do it whether people wanted me to or not, until eventually they started actually wanting me to, and it was really fun.
Yeah, I grew up playing video games. I'm not a gamer.
Mm-hmm.
It's a much different world from when I grew up playing, Tecmo Bowl, and then to the early stages of Madden. And I don't know why. I think the controller and it was so much easier to play back in the day than it turned into. So I kind of got turned off by that, and then just kind of stopped playing. So I don't really play games anymore. I do have NBA Jam and Golden Tee arcade size right behind me here in my office.
Because that's what I want that in my home. I've literally looked. I see you can buy an NBA Jam machine, and I fully intend to.
Yeah.
And it's going to go probably right there. I don't know if I keep, this work from home setup I have, I'll probably put it right there. So it's displayed, right? You should be just, I don't know why that's not in the background of your.
I have so much cool stuff in the background or to put in the background, but I'd have to put my desk in a different way. And I don't want to work there that way. But here, we're going to do a quick.
Here we go.
Turn.
First time in the Wolff Den history, the room reveal.
We can do some of the show here with, as you see,
all right,
NBA and Golden Tee. But,
man. Yeah, just do the show like that. Just stand up, get your cardio and pretend you're doing an infomercial for Golden Tee. Just use Golden Tee. Right.
I had to – there's an episode. I'll have to send you the clip where there was a balloon flying around and there was a noise going on, and I kept going to distract, and finally I had to get up and grab this thing and take it. This is live
mid-show. Right, mid-show.
Yeah, I'll pick up a thing and just, if I'm like, oh man, I forgot to get that. Okay, let me go grab it.
Right. Well, I mean, I just enjoy the fact that you probably spent a decent amount of time getting your camera set up and getting all your tech oriented for this, just to 7 minutes into the show, immediately whip your entire studio around just to show off your house.
I got I'm not portable, so I won't take you to the man cave where I think that's where the games are going to go. But the camera is just here. I actually bought a microphone and there's not a lot of room, and I'm not technical, so I haven't connected it yet. And I've had it for longer than I'll tell you, because it's embarrassing how long I've had it without connecting it. But I did buy it because people are like, hey, you need to get a microphone. You need better lighting. And I'm like, I tried to put a light up on the top of the camera. And you try with the background here, but it's just, I don't know. I like this position for work, so we're gonna operate with it. I don't think they're joining the show to see the guests, not me and my fantastic camera.
Hey man, I'm joining the show to talk to Matt Wolff. I already know what I look like. I see myself here in our little screen. I already know what I look like. I look at myself every day. You're the star here, Matt.
So let's even talking about the gaming. What was your game growing up? Obviously Zelda.
Yeah, Zelda was definitely a part of it for that show. Not as much as you might think. I've actually played a lot less Zelda than you might think for someone who's raised multi-million dollars with it. My stuff growing up was sports games a lot, Call of Duty, all the basic stuff people play. I'm a big Madden guy. I will beat anyone watching the show in Madden unless you are a professional Madden player, in which case, okay, sure. I mean, I'll still try, I'll put $10 on it. We'll see. But, Madden, NBA 2K, Smash Bros, all those games, man, that bring people together, the stuff that makes everyone want to come together and be a part of a show or be a part of a community, right? Even if that community is just your group of friends. I mean, that's something that you can build around. And have a lot of fun with. And that's kind of the spirit that, kept me going with it all as I looked at it and saw, this is what me and my friends did and really enjoyed. I'm sure a lot of other people and their friends really enjoy it. And if you blow that up, times 20, it's still just groups of friends playing. That's what every major tournament is. That's all this stuff is. And I think that's why it's so energizing and enjoyable for groups of people.
Well, extra incentive for you to get NBA Jam is that it's linked to Wi-Fi. So you can play. I haven't done it. I'm linked to the Wi-Fi, and I'm winning. I see some of the records I see that these people have. I'm like, they play 2,703.
Okay.
3 times.
I can get there. I can get there if you give me a week. You give me a week and I just have someone do all my work for me, for a week. I would get there, man. I think you and I can do that together.
my first loss was at halftime. I went to go help my wife do something and didn't realize that it was going to go with no pause button. So I come back and the game was over, and that was my first loss.
You know that doesn't count on your record, right? That counts on hers.
Yeah,
like she's 0-1.
But she did beat me in Golden Tee, the Skins game last time. She hit a pretty solid putt. So It's fun. I love, video games it's great. It used to be for kids, right? And then they have it's now for any ages, but now kids are really starting to use that as a career almost. I mean, there's esports is really blowing up, which is great, I think. And there's also women, right? You got some really good women in the sport who are killing it. This is like anyone can play a video game. That's one of the great things. You just never know.
Yeah, I mean, that actually is, one of the better parts. There's a few things I'll touch on there. It is a great conduit, for people of all demographics, all genders, all backgrounds to be a part of a community, because there, sometimes people debate in sports, a physical, difference between men and women. You don't generally see at the professional level a co-ed sport, right? You wouldn't necessarily see that very often, but you certainly can at the esports level. You can see an opportunity where, a man from Canada can go up against a woman from Japan. And no matter where they're from or what their demographic is or their background or where they came from or anything like that, all that matters is how well they perform in that video game. That's the only thing.
You wouldn't even know. I mean, you could be playing. Right. It's like the funny video or whatever you see with the sex operator line, and it's like an unattractive woman ironing. You have no idea if you're playing a 12-year-old girl or a 55-year-old man, and It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter.
You don't have that. You don't have that information. That's not important. Like certainly at the maybe at the professional level, you get into a league and they start to construct a storyline. But up till that point, I mean, it's just people, man. It's people from all demographics, and they can all come together. And the only difference is how well they can perform in this video game on that night. Not even who's better most of the time. Who's better that time? Who's better during that particular instance? I had a friend in college. We'd always play 2K together, and he was a good bit better than me, except the few times he wasn't. And on those times, I won whatever stupid bet we put down on it every time that I mostly lost. But on those times where I was better than him, I won, right? And that's kind of the beauty of it. Doesn't matter where you come from or who you are. You're in a position to win that time as long as you get there, as long as you're present. And you see a lot of opportunities being opened up for kids as well, from all demographics and backgrounds to be a part of the industry in the space.
But from a career point of view, it's not that unlike the real sports world. I say real, like physical sports world, where the odds on you becoming a professional to that level, they're not great. And so you have to toe the line between how much energy and effort and time and money do I put into doing this, especially if you're talking about a kid that's taken away from other things if they may or may not make it, and now it becomes more of a hobby, and how much time. What's the conversation around that?
Sure. I mean, you definitely see a lot of situations where kids being a part of a gaming community or kids engaging in these kinds of activities is really productive for their mental health. If they're in school, it gives them something to be a part of. And there's a great story that 89%, I believe, somewhere in the 80s, 80% roughly of students that take part in the esports club on their high school or specifically on their college are not involved in any other extracurricular activity. And so you're giving a lot of these kids a chance to be a part of something, whereas that caters to their interests, caters to the type of things they want to do, the things they want to be around, the people they want to take part in the activity with. But you're giving it to them when they wouldn't otherwise have an opportunity like that. And, I'm of the belief that everyone deserves a community. Everyone deserves a place where they feel as though they belong. And what esports does is it gives that opportunity to folks that might not have it otherwise, especially kids that are in crucial developmental stages of their life.
Yeah, great community, great stuff for people to be a part of. Being online can reach all across the world from all different types of people, but there's also the negative side of the internet, and how prevalent is that in that community?
Sure. I mean, you always have instances where, maybe somebody comes into it with a poor attitude, right? Or isn't being, mature. You'll have your situations where, someone's trash talking or whatever, which is common in traditional sports as well. I mean, I played rugby in college and I was way better at trash talking than I was at the actual sport. I promise you that.
Yeah.
And you have all those situations, but you're on a team, right? You have a team, you have a common goal, you have a united goal, and I think a lot of people really cling to that, and it gives them a place to belong and something to be a part of. And when you foster a community, most people want that community to be successful. They want it to be good. They want to enjoy it. They want it to be nice, right? They want it to be what they want it to be. They want to. A lot of people want it to be treated the way they want to be treated, and enough people in the world usually follow the golden rule of treat others the way you want to be treated. And so it works out, and you get people trying to create the community that they want. And usually that produces good, harmonious results most of the time.
Can it be monitored, or is it a free-for-all? And I'm not talking about from the professional point of view. Obviously, that's a league and there's rules. But from the recreational part, is it just a free-for-all, or just like the Wild Wild West online?
Not necessarily. I mean, a lot of stuff filters into semi-professional leagues where, there are, or grassroots events even, that still have organizers, still have codes of conduct, still have rules, so people still have to behave the way they say they will when they sign up for the event, right? And say they're going to adhere to this code of conduct. Certainly if you're at an in-person event, I mean, you can't just be a total jerk to people, right? You still have to behave yourself in a public setting in a certain manner, right? And online, these events have moderators and organizers much of the time, right? And those people are trying to keep the peace. You still have to behave in a basic manner, in the same way that, if you're in a youth soccer tournament, right? I mean, you can't just start punching people. You still have to play the game, right, and be a decent human. In the same way, you can't just start punching someone at an esports event either.
Did you ever see the video? It was a college soccer, and the girl just grabbed the other girl by the ponytail and whipped her back. Man, it was wild.
Wonder what she did. I wonder what the fight was about, man. I wonder what was going on.
Probably.
Sounds brutal. I mean, again, I played rugby. That stuff's par for the course, right? If you don't want to get your hair grabbed, wear the little scrum caps they got, man. But, soccer, you don't see that as much, right? And certainly, I think if you saw that in the Smash tournament, it would be pretty jarring. Yeah.
You saw it in NFL too, when they were up with the dreads, and because that's all fair.
Yeah, because the dreads are part of the uniform now, right?
Yeah, all fair game. So be careful if you're growing dreads when you're out in a physical sport.
I will. I'll keep that in mind.
Or the beard. The beard gets too long here. You can't grab my beard. It's long enough, but it's not too long.
I'm getting there. If I reach the point where my beard becomes a hazard to me in a combat setting, like in a hypothetical combat scenario, then I don't know, maybe I should evaluate, but we'll see. It's going to take a while before I get there. It's growing indecent, but it could grow faster. It would be nice. Yeah, we'll see where it goes.
I feel like if you get into a situation where there's a combat battle, you have to evaluate what's going on. I don't know if the beard is involved in that. You just got to evaluate.
Do I have time to think about that? Right. Do I have time to evaluate that situation? Probably not.
Is that a COVID beard, or did you always have it grown out?
It's not a COVID beard. I've had just about every look, man. I used to have hair down to here. Actually, in fall 2019, I had hair down to here in mutton chops. It's about this length of beard, but it was chops. And then I had round glasses, and I had round glasses, and then I had these glasses, actually, and I looked very much exactly like someone dropped straight out of 1976 who did not realize he was time traveling, and it was great, man. I did a lot of really fun work. That was just before COVID for the most part, that I had that look for about a year right before COVID, which means there's probably some people out there who haven't seen me, unless we've done a video call. I'm sure there's one or two people that haven't seen me since then, and that is what they think I look like still. It's entirely possible. And I'm aware of that. I'm fully aware of that.
Well, the great thing is you could just you could change your appearance and your look and all of that, and not who you are, but it very easily without having to do a lot. And that also kind of translates into the game. Like, you could be whoever you want to be online. And sure, I think a lot of people probably do that. They escape whatever's going on here. And it doesn't even have to be such a bad thing. It could be, hey, I'm a father of 3 and I work 80 hours a week, and I just want to, come out here and be someone else on there. So it's, I think it's the gaming world, the online world. It's intriguing. There's so much opportunity. I think they're still at the starting to get into the possibilities, which I think are endless. I just saw BB Rex is going to be doing a concert in The Sims. I know Travis Scott did in Fortnite. So the combination of games and entertainment, the intersection there is going to be huge.
Yeah.
You're an entertainment guy. You're a gaming guy. You're working on some stuff. What excites you about that, or where are you going to maybe grab some opportunity with that?
Yeah, man. A lot of the projects I'm working on are actually pretty similar to some of the things you just mentioned, virtual concerts and shows like that. I know the team behind the BB Rex Sims show. Actually, I was just talking to a few of them this morning. I've worked before with the team behind the Travis Scott show and the Marshmallow stuff in Fortnite. All that stuff's really exciting. And I think, looking at esports as an industry, how do you make something cool, right? You put it up next to other things that are cool. And then you put those two things together and people say, oh, these things like each other. Wow, they must be similar. They must be similar in how cool they are and how interesting they are.
Copycat world.
Yeah, right. And you're seeing that with the gaming space, with esports. You're seeing top-notch musicians, like we said, with Travis Scott and Marshmello and, the sim stuff they have going on. And you're seeing athletes and other forms of entertainers starting to stream on Twitch, which are some projects that I've been immersed in, with different NFL players that have gotten involved in Twitch, whether it's working on some brand deals for them to get sponsors involved, because brands, are always very excited with opportunities like that. Or whether it's just getting them involved in the first place as a personal interest of theirs. All of those things are things that I, try to spend some of my time on and work with. And it's really exciting to see mainstream media embrace what is possibly the most popular activity among, people of a certain demographic, at least, and possibly of a certain age range in general. This is something that people grew up with if they're under the age of, 35, this is something that now people grew up with gaming. They grew up with entertainment. They're familiar with it. It's a part of their life. And so seeing other things that are part of their life, like sports, music, etc., become a part of that as well is really exciting for them. And it's something that's really engaging to a lot of folks.
Yeah. Gaming is it's still different. Like we call playing Madden back in the day, was that gaming? I guess it was. It seems like it is more now because of the competitions that have evolved, and it wasn't just us playing against our friends, in our basement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, certainly gaming has evolved over time, right? The first esports tournament, depending on who you ask, was anywhere between the 70s to the 80s, right? It wasn't necessarily referred to that at the time, and it sure wasn't considered a mainstream media component, right? But it was a thing that happened. This has been something that's been interesting to folks for a long time, even if it was just who can get the high score in Cubert, which, by the way, if you go to the local barcade here in Columbus, Ohio, the greatest city in the world, the top 6 high scores on Cubert are all me. So I would challenge anyone to even take 6th. Please just come take 6th. But, it's all about that community, man, and competition. That's something that's timeless, right? And now we're using digital properties to give people a new chance at competition.
I wish my friend Brent, he's basically on almost all my shows. We watched the Kong documentary of Kong, or have you seen that movie?
No, I haven't. I've only seen, I joke with people, I've only seen 10 movies, right? Now it's more than that. I've definitely seen closer to 100. But my go-to joke is that I've seen 10 movies. People are like, have you seen what's name a famous movie? Name a famous movie.
Anything could be like E.T. or Star Wars.
Okay, all right. I've seen all the Star Wars movies, and I've seen all the Shrek movies. In fact, whenever I say that in public, I have one friend who always counters with, "But you've seen all the Shrek movies and you've seen all the Star Wars movies, so that's more than 10 right there." And I never have an answer to that. It's really annoying whenever he brings that up. But
move your number to 20.
Yeah, I guess I got to bump it up a little bit. But movies are great. But the point is, no, I haven't seen the documentary. Sorry.
Are you a Netflix guy with television shows? Obviously, you're spending a lot of time gaming.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, I'm marathoning Arrested Development right now because my girlfriend's making me, and it turns out it's hilarious.
Great show.
It's exactly my style of comedy. said that to another friend. I was like, I'm finally watching Arrested Development. He responded, and I quote, "Dude, you could have written Arrested Development," which is also the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. So it's a great show. You know, I try to catch up on TV that I probably should have always watched. You know, anything funny.
Schitt's Creek's got that kind of humor a little bit.
Yeah, stuff like that. Got to rip through all of those. I need good references to pepper into random conversations. You know.
Yeah, I'm going to send you the information on the documentary. It's just a crazy thing about how good these people were at video games, like actual video games, and staying there, and how like the whole place was electric when this guy was going for a high score, and they did a whole documentary about it.
People love that stuff, man. And, you know, it's that spirit of competition. People have always had that, right? Whether it's wanting to have the high score at that game, or, you know, wanting to beat your friend in one-on-one basketball, right? Or maybe you played football in middle school, right? You wanted to win, you know, whatever it was. People have always had a spirit of competition. Maybe you just want to beat somebody out for that promotion at your job. I don't know, right? Whatever it is. The point is, people love getting a chance to be good at something, especially if someone else is trying to be good at something and they have a chance to be a little bit better. People like that, you know, at least many people do. And esports just gives people a chance for that. And then there's also the casual gaming space where people just play a game to have fun. So wherever you sit on that spectrum, you can definitely enjoy this, and there's something for everyone.
Have you ever defeated Super Mario Brothers?
I have not, no.
Oh man.
I have not, but I have played it a lot and come close. I wasn't much. It was funny because outside of Smash, which like it started just my friends like would play Smash a bunch, and I'd play with them as a kid. I was really a big sports game guy until I got to like high school. And so, you know, I would definitely run through, you know, Super Mario and all that stuff. And I got pretty far, but I've never gotten all the way, and I will someday.
Well, if you watch the movie Swingers, there's a video game reference scene that is pretty hilarious. So you should watch the movie. I'll recommend the movie Swingers, which is great. It's your kind of humor too, I think.
I think I've heard of that one. I've heard of that one for sure.
It's John Barbaro. It's pretty great.
I didn't know I was coming out of this with a movie list, man. Like I literally, I gotta go.
We got a lot of stuff. Do you know the cheat code to Contra?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, like the T-shirts with that. That was
one of the first gaming pop culture pieces, man. That was one of the first ones.
Yeah, it's I have all. You know what? It's crazy. I played everything, Coleco and Atari, and then Nintendo, and that was about that when I stopped. And then I got PlayStation, and I played a little bit, but I just kind of didn't play a lot. And then I got PlayStation 2. Okay. And I can tell you that I watched more DVD movies on PlayStation 2 than I played games because I didn't have a player, and that was my DVD player.
And that was groundbreaking at the time that it had that capability. It was a real multimedia device. Yeah.
It was great, but I never played them. And now I buy all the old stuff. I have the old Nintendo NES, and I have the old Atari plug into your thing to try and get it. You know, it's not as good. My friend has the arcade thing that has like 100 versions on there, and you're like, you've never heard of half of these things. But you're like, I'll take a.
Well, you have all this stuff because it looks great in your man cave that you're building. That's why you have all these things.
It's all in drawers. I'm telling you. I bought the Wii when that came out.
Yeah.
I just like to buy things and not use them. Apparently.
That's a great use of your personal finances.
If I could, and especially when you need money, right? You'd be like, oh, well. Can I sell this?
Yeah, and then you just sell it off, and you know, depending on what it is, you might get more than you paid for.
Yeah, I might have to. There's my man cave is not. I have a screen, that a projector and a screen and some movie seats, but it's not a big place. So I got way more stuff than I have room for in this house, which is not a small house.
Sounds like you need a second man cave then.
I probably do. I need, and I keep buying. I'm a collector. I'm all about memorabilia and collectibles. But are you a collector? I see some stuff. You got some hats back there, and maybe some.
I have a bunch of hats, man. A bunch of hats because last year. So I already had a few hats, right? I like hats, but. You know, last year I mentioned how long my hair was, but last year, hey, nice, there you go, good branding. But last year I shaved my head, June, right? Because in March 2020, I got my hair cut from this into like a normal undercut. And so I got a cut March 1st. 2 weeks later, something happened, right? And made it so I couldn't go to the barber for a couple months. And so it started to grow, and the way I got it cut, it wasn't supposed to grow for 2 months. And so I cut it myself, and I actually did a pretty good job considering I shouldn't be trusted with sharp objects.
Yeah.
But then that grew for a couple months, and it was growing in fine, but I thought, okay, I can fix this a little bit. Let's just trim it up, tidy it up a bit. And I shaved a receding hairline into my head, but like a really bad one, like terrible, like not normal or natural receding hairline. And so I, had two options, either shave it or mohawk, and one of those fixes itself. So I shaved it, and I realized I needed to buy a few more hats to complement the ones I either had already purchased or that I had been given at different places. I have
You got West Virginia on there, right?
Huh?
Is that a West Virginia Mountaineers hat?
Yeah, that's one of them I grabbed. A great party school, right? Got to represent. I went to a D3 school, so I do have a hat from my school, but no one recognizes it unless you're from Ohio or you love music. But yeah, I got West Virginia, got the Tribe, have two Penn State hats, and another Indians hat. Jake from State Farm, that was free. State Farm gave it to me. I didn't really want it. They gave it to me anyway. So now I just represent it. I'm
funny. I really enjoyed Drake from State Farm was great. That little scene in the.
Oh yeah. Well, if they give me a hat that has like Drake on it, and I can represent that way, I absolutely will. I remember when that commercial dropped. It was a Super Bowl ad, I think, first, and it was a good run. People definitely appreciate it. And I know we laughed, but yeah, no. I got a bunch of hats. I have probably 5 times more than that I just don't have on the shelf. Bunch of shoes, a lot of random stuff. I collect completely useless things and hats, right? That's what I do. I don't even wear those hats half the time. They're just there because they look nice on a shelf.
Here, here. We're gonna move the camera again so you could see my Funko Seinfeld collection, which has.
Oh, you're one of them. Okay.
Well, I don't collect Funkos, but Seinfeld is my favorite show of all time. And then I have like ridiculously interesting beer cans and stuff like that.
That's interesting, man. I like that. I have a collection of wine bottles over there, but it's just stuff I've drank recently. I don't know if it's really on purpose. I guess I keep telling my girlfriend I'm going to turn it into something. I'm like, oh, I'm going to do something with all of these, all these different bottles and stuff. And she's like, I don't think you will. I think they're just going to sit there. And now I have to prove her wrong, right? But yeah. I mean, so far she's right. We'll see.
She's always right, by the way. Your girlfriend is always right. And then
yeah, and if she ever watches this, that's absolutely true. And let it be known that I said that first, not Matt, right? And I'm not just agreeing. It's an organic truth. So
you can edit that.
All right, yeah, I have my own post-production crew. We'll get right on that after this. Yeah.
Well, I'm a collectible guy. I'm a memorabilia guy. Let's talk about that for a second. And because the big trend now is the NFTs, which is a digital collectible. I'll argue that it's not really a collectible. It's more of an investment. The same way that baseball cards have kind of stopped being collectibles, and now they're speculation and investment stuff. What's your take on NFTs?
Yeah, man. I definitely think they're super important. Obviously, NFTs didn't start 5 months ago when everyone first found out about them. They've been around for a while and they've been developing organically. I had a friend who's an NBA exec just call me one day. He's a former NBA exec and he's trying to figure out what he wants to do now. And he called and asked about NFTs and asked pretty bluntly, why the heck does anyone want this? And I explained the best I could, that it's an authenticity thing. People want to have the first version of something and the authentic version of something. That's why if you collect baseball cards or whatever, how do you authenticate it? You take it to the weird guy who, who's looked at every baseball card ever made and can tell whether it's real or not by blinking at it, right? You go to that guy, and for an NFT, it has kind of its own built-in verification system on the blockchain. Obviously, everyone's familiar with that. And so you're collecting digital components, right? In the same way you can collect something physically, you can collect something digitally. And there's a lot of projects in place and people I've been talking to that are doing things like, digital art galleries, so to speak, that are thematic and, can be attended in the same way a physical art gallery can be attended. And, turning NFTs into something where you can really be proud of it, and it's just an opportunity to own something either that you are proud of or that is an appreciating asset that you can then get more money for in the long run. Whatever it is, maybe it's a little bit of both. I think one thing you could be proud of if you're a collector and you're looking at it from an appreciating asset perspective, like you're a reseller. I think the thing you definitely be proud of there is the money you make off of it, right? If you're just a collector and you want the thing to have the thing, then you're proud of owning it, right? Because maybe it's important or has some sort of sentimental value. Either way, it's just another opportunity for people to engage in something that they enjoy, to really love that thing and own that thing and be the exclusive owner of that thing, not have to compete for its rights or, for its authenticity. You own that thing, and that's a great thing for you, whether you want to resell it or keep it for yourself.
Well, from the devil's advocate point of view, what about people who are saying it's just a quick money grab for a lot of people, or like the original and authenticity of things really was intended on being organic? Like, hey, this was the first thing, but you can always create the first thing of anything. So that means, like, are we going to saturate the market with the first of this? I think without an experience attached to it, then I don't know, the future of it, of just having an NFT. You don't even actually, but then if you're going to offer an experience, then you don't even need the NFT part of it. You can just sell the experience. So it'll be interesting where this goes. What's your thoughts on that?
I think you're definitely right. I think the market can become oversaturated for NFTs. And I think even further than that, it already has. You're seeing this new trend of a lot of things show up. People are like, oh, NFTs, what do you mean I can sell this picture of my arm for 1.6 million? I guess I'll go do that, right? That's an oversaturation of the marketplace. That is a money grab. That's not sustainable. I think what you do see emerging out of all of this are really sustainable forms of enjoyment of this technology. Eventually, the money grab will dry up. The amount of people that want to drop 2 million on an NFT for some random stuff is eventually going to deplete, right? And that market will kind of go back to resembling what I think NFTs were probably always intended to be, which is a digital token that represents your ownership of something important. Now, importance obviously is subjective and will go up, down, left, right as
That's the same with anything of value. It's only worth what someone will pay for it. My biggest regret is not upping my bid on the NFT fart that sold for 85. I wouldn't go $1 more than 75. Someone went $10 more, got the NFT fart, and that was it. And I
could have been in there, man. You could have put that. I really don't know where you would have put that, but you could have put it somewhere. Like, we're talking about how you're going to design your home and where you're going to put all these items. I don't know where you would have put that, but I'm sure you or your wife would have found a place for it. It might have been a different place between those two, but one of you would have found a place.
Somewhere in the bathroom, probably. I guess we got to keep it, keep it what it is. Do you own any NFTs?
Keep it thematic. Do I? No, I do not. I do not.
You own any crypto?
I do own a bit of crypto. I have a decent amount of Bitcoin. I also am a part-time sports bettor, would be full-time if I didn't have a life and people that want to see me to succeed in life, right? If I went full degenerate, my first act would be to become full-time bettor. I already do it too much.
If you're good enough at it, they call you a professional.
Right, exactly. Then I would just call myself a professional, right? Even if I wasn't good enough at it, if I call myself a professional, then everyone else will too, at least for a little bit.
A professional is someone who gets paid to do what they do, right? So I think definition, all bettors are professionals.
Yeah, I have gotten paid to sports bet. I guess if you look at it, I have won many times, so I suppose I am. But I cash out a lot of my winnings sometimes to Bitcoin, and then I will either sell if I just wanted, that money right then, or I'll just add it to my stock. There was one time, and usually what that means, I remember I cashed out right in the middle of the craze where it soared significantly, and by the time I cashed out, I literally had $200 more than I had added to my account. I had cashed out from the sports book. And then by the time I sold that chunk of Bitcoin, it was worth $200 more. So it was literally free money. Yeah. There's no other way to look at it. And that was $200 of free money that I gained. And my thought was, everyone should do this. This is insane. So that was fun, right? Because that was a case where It wasn't even like I deposited an amount and then it came back. That wasn't even an investment on my part. It was a case where I had won a large amount of money on a parlay, immediately cashed out the amount that I wanted of it. And then by the time I sold, it was $200 more. It was the closest thing to free money I think anyone will ever experience.
Yeah, it's but it could go down too. So it could be worth 200 less. Than
right.
Timing is everything in life.
Yeah, absolutely. And crypto's great. Do you own any crypto yourself?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something like I'm not going to be one of those people that jumps in and says, yeah, everyone should have, a Bitcoin, one whole Bitcoin. Well, it's $30,000, don't just do that unless you know what you're doing, right? Evaluate your options. It's the same thing I would say if you want to invest in a stock. You're not just going to invest in a random stock for some random thing. You're going to evaluate what you want to be a part of. You're going to look at maybe an index that you want to be jumping toward. You're going to look at companies. You're going to do all this. You're going to do your research, right? I'm not a financial advisor, but you're going to do your research. And likewise, I would tell anyone trying to get into crypto, do your research, because it's not just Bitcoin. There's a million different types of cryptos, and some of them suck. Some of them don't even exist. They just say they do, right? You have to know what you're doing, man. That's what I tell everybody with anything. Know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, don't fucking do it until you figure it out, right? Once you start to figure it out, once you start to know a little bit more, then you'll be able to create an educated guess around it. However, Bitcoin is down right now. Some people think it'll go up. If you think so, hop in.
Yeah. With anything, be very careful who you take advice from too, because Bitcoin and crypto and NFTs, the card market, auto, very heavily invested by the people who are pushing it.
Yep.
Right. Mark Cubans of the world, the Gary V's. I mean, they're heavily invested in all this stuff. And
right. I mean, most people that promote a concept are not promoting it solely because they want to see you succeed. In fact, I would argue that almost nobody who is giving you advice is doing it because they want to see you succeed, especially if they do not know you. Yeah. So,
strangely enough, I will do that.
Right.
Today, but I agree with you. Most people don't.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, even in your case, you want people to tune in the next episode so they can get more advice, right? Now, granted, it's a good idea for them to do that because everything you say on this show is correct, Matt. Mostly. Right. Mostly. Maybe like you might have gotten like one thing wrong at some point.
My attorney wife will say my legal disclaimer is that that's not true. Not everything I say is fact. So we got to make that clear.
Right. Not everything you say is fact, but some of it, right? And if people can benefit from that, they should keep watching the show. Likewise, anyone who gives you advice and offers you something, whether it's Gary Vee telling you which crypto to jump in, or Elon telling you which crypto to jump on in, they're probably saying it for a reason. Likewise, the person who is offering you free advice on your business is probably offering it for a reason, even if that reason is just so you think they're smart and keep listening to them, right? Most people don't give away, solid advice for free. So, of course, that's a great point. Be wary of the source of the information that you're consuming. Consider if that person has any motives for suggesting it. And just keep that in your mind as you evaluate whether, what advice you want to listen to and what actions you want to take.
Yeah. It's who are some of the people that you follow, you're enjoying their content, whether it's an influencer or intellect, I don't know, just who do you like to follow, or who?
Yeah. I'll jump in from an entrepreneurship perspective. I think a lot of people really can learn a lot from Gary Vee. His style obviously doesn't necessarily appeal to everyone, but the core message of, just try doing what you love and working hard at it and making sure that you're not sad, be happy, work to be happy and do what you love. That central message is important. I think people get really caught up a lot of times in, the deep seated nature of hustle porn, right? In reality, what is the point of all of this crap? Do something that you care about and make sure you're happy, right? If you're doing that, you're doing okay. And so that's what I tried to tell people. And I think that's the central message behind what Gary Vee says as well. So that's all good to hear. A lot of great friends.
I'll give you my anti-Gary Vee point for a second.
Yeah.
And that is a great message. It's not original, but it's a great message.
Right.
He will tweet, I'm not in it for the money, as he charges $100,000 for him to speak at things, and his VFriends NFTs, were starting at like $10,000. Anyway,
Sure.
it's a great message. Do what you love. I think everyone should just kind of do what makes you happy in everything, because life can be short. Don't stay at a job. Don't stay where you're living. Don't stay in that relationship. All of that, if you're not happy. And happiness is a roller coaster, right? I mean, no one's happy all the time. So you just got to, pick.
I've actually never been sad before, Matt.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had like a negative emotion.
The first time will be when you walk off of the Wolff Den and exit the Wolff Den and wish you could have had it for longer.
Wish I had a second hour on the show, right?
There's no how
exactly. I can't wait. You're giving me new experiences, man. First I get to see all those Funko Pops. I've never seen so many on one camera screen, right? And then now I get to experience a negative emotion for the first time when I leave the show. Man, who doesn't experience a negative emotion when they leave your show? Your viewers, man. They're experiencing just peals of joy that they got to spend an hour watching it.
Yeah, it's I'm flattered that you think that everyone spends an hour watching this, even though we go an hour. But I think it's good. It's hard. You know what? I did a half-hour show, and you just can't get into things. If you want to just have the surface conversation, then don't come on the Wolff Den.
I can have a surface conversation in 5 minutes, man.
Yeah.
I can also have a surface conversation for an hour. I just don't want to, because it's not a good use of my time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, speaking of good uses of your time, I would encourage people to find, someone you look up to in your chosen field. I have a lot of friends, that have been there for me along the way. Some of them started as, mentors, even in some, and a mentor can be someone who is younger or less accomplished than you as well. It's just someone who teaches you something, right? And I, by that criteria, I have a great many, people that I've learned something from. I try to learn something from everyone I talk to be honest with you. I think the crucial thing a lot of people forget is you can learn something from literally everyone on this planet, no matter what they've done. Everyone has a capability. I try to find everyone's, little superpower, as stupid and corny as that sounds. Everyone's got something that makes them special. I try to find that, man, and find the opportunity that I can to help them if necessary, or vice versa. We're all in this together is kind of my point of view on it.
I feel the same way. I think, look, there's a lot of takers in this world, and I'm a taker myself, but I'm also a giver. So I don't mind doing the ask. I feel comfortable in who I am and what I offer to have the ask. And don't be afraid to have an ask. Just be someone who offers too and gives. It's too many people are afraid, like even on LinkedIn and everything else, it's okay to go in and not have to waste time in small talk to get to your point.
Yeah. And I mean, if you know what you want, right, and you know why you want it, then you have a good reason to make the ask, right? If you don't know why you want something, then I don't know, maybe you don't have a good reason, right? But if you know why you want something, even if you want, I mean, one of the worst possible reasons, I would say that in quotes, is you want to achieve a bunch of things so you can be super famous and everyone will listen to you because they'll think you're really smart and the stuff you say is important. Even that can be a good reason if you just genuinely think you have something to give people. If you think you have good ideas and people can benefit from learning them, then improving your platform to the point where somebody, where 10,000 people will look at it and take your word as advice, then that's good. That's good if you genuinely think you have something to give. Find out what you want, and then wanting it won't be a bad thing, right? As long as you know why you want it and know what you want to do with that power.
Yeah, I mean, you actually wanting is one of the biggest things you need in accomplishing, because you have to have the passion for it. You have to have the drive and the motivation. So wanting something to happen, it's not just going to happen, but that's the first step. Saying no.
Well, everyone has, everyone has something they want. Everyone has a goal. Everyone has something that they would like to achieve, even if they don't know what it is. Like if your life is terrible, let's just say, right? You have nothing going for you, really that you can perceive. You want that situation to improve slightly. That's what you want, at least, if nothing else. And so that's something to work toward if you're doing really well, and all this stuff's subjective, right?
Everyone can improve their situation. I don't care who you are. Tom Brady, all of it. He just didn't they just sign some deal? They don't need the money, but they're doing something for whatever reason. He wanted it. He's going to get more money out of it, more fame. I don't know.
Well, Brady wants his next ring. Even a guy like that still wants another ring. He has more playoff wins than any other NFL starting quarterback has playoff games, and he still wants more. So if it's a guy like that can want more, anyone can want more, right?
I agree with that. Let's go back just a couple of questions about gaming. If I'm a newbie and I don't play and I want to try and get into that, what would you recommend? What do I try? Do I do Call of Duty? Am I Fortnite? Should I start trying to play sports?
Well, I mean, look, if you're a sports fan, sports games are obviously going to be really relatable and accessible. You might have already played like Madden every now and then, like stuff like that. You've probably already played. If a game connects to your interests like that, you probably already played it. But games like Call of Duty are popular for a reason. Fortnite's popular among kids for a reason. Depends on who you are, man. I would look up, games people are interested in, that people are really enjoying. Hop on something like that. If you have friends that are really into a game, try playing it. If you're interested in games that have solid spectator experiences, Call of Duty is really great for that. Overwatch right now, Valorant games, those are all shooters. Those have really great spectator presences. Fighting games do as well. Depends on what you're looking for, but there's really something for everyone. And, I say wouldn't be afraid to explore.
Yeah, YouTube obviously has increased the popularity of sports, right? That was one of the things that helped blow this whole thing up. It's amazing to me. I was maybe last month, and my nephew's just watching YouTube of someone playing Fortnite, and I'm like, what? And it's the millions and millions of views that people are doing just watching someone play a game it's insane. You ever hear the taco song? You're gonna play and you're gonna hate me for introducing you to this. It's called the taco song. 47 million views on YouTube.
Yep.
The taco song. So,
look how many Baby Shark has. It's the most viewed video ever, and it's literally mind numbing. Literally.
Part of that is, look, I probably watched the taco song 1,000 times myself. So maybe it's not as many people watching, just someone watching all day, every day.
Maybe it's all you. Maybe it's just all you, and like you also watch it in your sleep or something. Like you just love it that much. Maybe you wrote the taco song and you're just promoting it to all of us.
I just told my friend, I'm like, we make up dumb songs all the time that are just about food and whatever. We can make this and make it go viral. We just gotta get lucky. But in truth, I could pay someone to just sit there and watch my video. So you can get millions of views just by paying people to watch your video. The vanity metrics on things and influencers. I'm not a huge fan. I wrote an article about it on LinkedIn. If you want to read it, if anyone wants to read it about influencers, it's crazy how the YouTube world has expanded that. And just watching YouTube hours, it's like, to go down a rabbit hole like Reddit and TikTok and all those things, spend hours and hours watching and reading. What do you follow online? Are you a YouTube watcher? Are you on Reddit in the which
I definitely, one of my main hobbies is browsing a bunch of different sports subreddits for the sports I follow or bet on. I'm always keeping up on that, whether it's NBA during the season, NFL, I'm a big mixed martial arts guy. So I'm definitely on Reddit, on all those major subreddits. I also do a lot, I watch YouTube videos. I watch my friends on Twitch for the most part and keep up with what major streamers are doing, so there's a lot of good content out there. And I really would say, just to bring it back, that it's a situation where there really is something for everyone out there. It's the internet. If you look at Bo Burnham's new special, Inside, he has a song where he discusses exactly that. There really is something for everyone on the internet, and that includes you. So, yeah.
I played the shit out of 3.14 Apple Pie when it first came out, but he's hilarious. I think he's great. He's got some great stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, there's something for everyone out there. I think that's kind of the point of gaming. The point of esports is, we're just giving opportunities for people to engage with what they love in the way that they choose. That's what it's all about. That's what entertainment's supposed to be all about, and gaming's just another conduit.
Yeah. What's your thought on the violence of gaming and movies and entertainment? And is that shaping people's attitude? Is it, negative? Obviously it's not positive, but do you think there's some of that to blame for the violence in real life?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can't say that just because someone played a violent video game and then they go on to perform some heinous crime that they did it because of the video game. I think that's really unfair for the same reason. I mean, because if you look at all the people that play that violent video game and then don't commit a heinous violent crime, what are the statistics on that? If you take every Call of Duty buyer, everyone who's ever played a first person shooter, how many of them did not commit a gun-based violent crime? Probably most of them, right? And so I think that's something to just evaluate, consider patterns over sensational instances, is my advice to most people when considering things like that.
Violence is the direction that all these new games and the big games are. I mean, couldn't there be something with a skill set that isn't violent, or is that just not as interesting to people?
I mean, there certainly is. And I mean, you see a lot of games like, like Fall Guys, right? I mean, that's just some people waddling across an obstacle course. And I mean, yeah, maybe they fall over or whatever, but they don't die. At least as far as I know, it's not discussed if they do, right? That's just waddling across an obstacle course. You look at all sorts of games that aren't intrinsically violent like that. Yeah, sure, things like that, probably do have an appeal because if there's a violence component or something like that where there's a combat scenario, I guess it's easy to tell who won, right? Yeah. That's why some people enjoy things like that. But certainly there's a lot of games that aren't violent. There really is entertainment for everyone. And if you're a parent, who's watching, who doesn't want to see their 8-year-old shooting somebody, I mean, that doesn't have to happen, right? They're still able to engage with entertainment in all sorts of different ways, right?
Agreed. Give me your Mount Rushmore of video games, the 4 best, or either that you think the 4 best or your 4 favorites.
Yeah, currently, it's so hard because there's so many great ones. I would say that in terms of esports right now, it's right now is relative, but in terms of esports, it's League of Legends, Dota, Overwatch, and Call of Duty. Right. And with a perhaps like 5th space, if necessary, for the entire fighting game community, like Street Fighter, Smash, Tekken, Mortal Kombat, all looped together. Like if you take the entire FGC, that deserves a spot over probably Dota. Really, you have to consider esports and genres, right? You have your MOBAs, which is like your League of Legends and your Dota. You have your first person shooters like Call of Duty and games of that nature. You have real-time strategy games like StarCraft, which was the first esport and in South Korea. The first one to hit mainstream anyway on a national level, StarCraft 2. You have games like that, your real-time strategy, and then you also have fighting games, right? So really I would break it down like that, and I would construct a Mount Rushmore comprised of genres rather than individual games because there's so many great examples. And from that, you can figure out what you really like and start to dive into that genre maybe if you're still figuring out how you want to engage with that.
What are you best at?
Fighting games, man. And sports games, I guess. Some people wouldn't consider those. They consider those in like a separate family, right? Great at sports games.
If you had to play one thing for all your money and it was all on the line, what would it be?
Smash Ultimate. I'll play the worst character in the game.
Yeah? All right. Yeah. I'm going to learn the game and then we'll do it.
All right. See you in Ohio, man. Fly on up. Yeah.
We'll get you out of here on the same question we get everyone out of here on. You can spend a day with anyone. They have to be alive, and you can't be related to them. Who are you going to pick, and what are you guys going to do? We're making a list. We're going to make it happen for somebody. We've already done some outreach.
Okay. And anything's possible, right? Anything's possible.
Any human being that is living.
And we can do anything.
Yesterday, someone mentioned Vladimir Putin.
All right. Well, I'm not going to do that.
I don't think I can make it
for international political reasons. I will not be suggesting that option.
I told him I didn't think I'd be able to make it happen, but we're
right. I mean, because my answer, if I can do anything with anyone, I'm picking Baker Mayfield and we're winning the Super Bowl. Go Browns. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, this is more of like you can spend a day you can't control what happens, but you can spend the day playing football with Baker Mayfield if you want.
I mean, that'd be cool. I'm going to lean in on, I'd probably say my honest answer is Oscar Wilde, the writer. He's one of the more interesting people in our history. Wrote some amazing stuff and was the guy who's literally world renowned for being witty and funny. And I like to have fun when I'm in my life, right?
You
And
forgot the rule. No, you forgot the.
oh, they have to be alive. They have to be alive.
Yeah,
right,
well, let's try and make it happen.
All right. Otherwise, you can't do it. Bo Burnham. We were talking about him earlier. He's in the news right now. Let's go with Bo. The guy, besides, I mean, the guy could use a great friend. You saw that special.
He's got some great cameos in movies, too. I'm a big fan. I hope he gets a little bit more mainstream, although he's doing fine for himself.
I mean, those, if you look at his YouTube, all those songs that he dropped, the Welcome to the Internet, all of those that he dropped on YouTube, the full length videos, they're all in the top 20 and trending. So maybe this special will be the one that does it, and honestly, if it does, he definitely earned it, making that whole thing by himself. I sure couldn't. So that's great.
Yeah, we're going to put him on the list, Bo Burnham. I'd love to spend a day with Bo Burnham too. So it's an excellent choice. Let's
put Bo Burnham and Vladimir Putin in the same room. Is my suggestion, right?
That would not end well for Bo, I don't think, or any of us really, but probably Bo. Check out Zac on LinkedIn, Twitter, not James K. Polk, or at not James K. Polk. Zactivate's got some interesting news coming out, so follow him, get in touch. What else would you like to tell people before we go?
Yeah, I would just want to say a couple things to shout out. The Varsity Esports Foundation, which is giving scholarships to kids that want to take part in collegiate and high school esports programs, but maybe they come from a disenfranchised background. That's my number one shout out. Games for Love Giving is another foundation I work with, giving access to games for kids that are in hospitals. And they also do that through making their own games as well that are family friendly. So that's a great organization. Huge fan of that. Those are the two charities I want to shout out right now. And also we were talking about people that you should listen to, right? On where you get your advice, and where you pull all that stuff from. And we spent a good portion of this show talking about why that's so important. And if there's one place I can tell you to refer for quality information, it's at not James K. Polk on Twitter. So thanks, Matt. This was really fun.
And Enmar Gators on Twitter. It was great chat. Look forward to seeing what you come up with. And I'm going to send you some recommendations, and we'll talk soon.
All right, man. We'll do a movie night.
Yeah, tune in everyone for another episode tomorrow of the Wolff Den. Have a great day.